This is our demonstration. You see that the soldier is in the entrance of the village, and when we appear to them, they start shooting. You see how? Now they start shooting.
There you are.
She is an Israeli journalist, and she asked them, I want action, I don't see action, and they start shooting. They killed Mustafa by one of this.
Things are a little intense.
Finally, we are here. Yes, thank you. Welcome, welcome. I am happy to see you here. Yeah.
Thank you for coming and supporting us.
Thank you. And this is my daughter.
Right,
you
yes.
saw her.
She's world famous.
Right. There is the picture from that.
Wow.
That's the boy. That's the soldier. And then they came and they rescued him. The women came.
Yes.
It's very good. You inspired women and people all over the world when they saw that. The strength.
Thank you.
Beautiful, wonderful. And you are a hero, a great hero. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's right.
I saw the soldier. Was he trying to take your son?
And we have a demonstration, and then we come to the hill here, and then the soldiers was hiding around us. He was a broken hand, because they shot him before 2 days of this by a rubber bullet. And they said he throws stones. How he throws stones with a broken hand?
How old?
He was 11 years old.
They can arrest you at 11.
Yeah, they can. Yes.
Very careful. Stop it. He's got a gun. Stop.
They catch Mahmoud, and they took him for 5 months in jail, 7 months in jail, and this boy, where you see, yeah, we have the youngest prisoners now is 13 years old. They give him 3 years in jail.
13.
No, 13. Yes.
3 years in jail.
Yeah.
You were a big rock star when you were on tour because of this video.
The price is high. When you lose part of your cousin and family, it's not easy to say it's famous or not. It's important to be famous or not. Yeah, the worst issue that we are still under occupation. We need a lot of time to reach our goal, and mean a lot of suffering, and mean a lot of losing. For that, the future is not easy for us. In 1976, they start settling in our land, the settlement of Halmish. It's a group of Goshamonim come and they start taking the land, and our parents and the grandparents start struggling, and every day clashes. We try to change our way of resistance. We start December 9, 2009 to protect our land from the settler and to call our voice for all over the world that we are existing in this land, and we are resisting in this land, and we can't keep silent under occupation. And in general, our problem is not the settlement. The settlement is the face of the problem. The problem is the occupation. We want to end the occupation. And we want to have our freedom and justice and equality and everything. This is our first demonstration. And these are settlers shooting live ammunition. This machine shoots 64 tear gas canister in one shot. And they improve it. It shot now 210 tear gas canister in one shot. It's make a wall of tear gas. See how it's used?
Yeah. Like raining.
Sure, see.
Terrible.
Wow.
Terrible.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Here, as you can see, they're shooting pepper spray on the people's faces, and if you just had one, it will, like, if you wash your face, the place that they shoot on it, for 2 days it will stay burning. They don't care if it's children, people, old people, or just young people. And here he's saying, I want
oxygen.
Lot of oxygen.
You can't breathe.
You can't breathe when here shooting a lot of gas canisters inside the house. There's 3 gas canisters, broke the windows and come inside. Here's me and my friends, my mother, my aunties. We were like a lot of gas canisters. We cannot breathe. We're afraid right now. Here we didn't know what to do, so all the here's me. We went like on the windows, getting us out.
You know, the first time I saw the gas being used, the tear gas being used against the Palestinians, and because we were with them, by extension us, and you know, I saw the Palestinians run away from it, and I remember. And I thought to myself, right, I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, there's no need to run from it. I've been around gas before. In the Marine Corps, you go to the gas chambers, and then you'd use it in exercises and stuff. And the thing is you're supposed to do is, you know, remain calm. And then it hit me, just like a wisp of it. And that stuff was more powerful than anything I've ever experienced. It messes you up. Your body just starts rejecting it, and your body shuts down all its functions just to deal with the gas.
There's no oxygen. It's very hard to breathe right here.
I mean, you can read all the essays and books, and you can watch documentaries and interviews, but You have to be here to really get to understand what is occurring here, how the settlements are utilized to squeeze the people and to make them miserable, to punish them, to humiliate them, to really get a feel for the oppression and suffering.
This is the spring that we really try to go, because we don't make a demonstration since a long time. We want to go tomorrow to this spring, to be there and to see what they will do.
Okay.
Yeah.
There had been this spring that the Israelis, the settlers, the Israeli military and the settlers had taken over and disallowed the Palestinians to go to. Bassem and the other Palestinian folks who lead the resistance there said, hey, we're going to go to the spring.
This spring
Some settlers.
And we weren't there very long before the settlers showed up. And they come tearing up in their cars. The first one was a young man who showed up with his rifle. And all the settlers have weapons. Some of them have rifles, but they all have pistols in their waistbands. All of them. And but we're standing there with our sign, our banner, just in the, it's not even a road, it's more like a trail. And this guy, a young man, comes driving up and literally drives right into us and hits me right in the knees with his car.
Excuse me, I want to go up.
Hey, back up.
Hey, you
Get out of the way.
Yalla امشي. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. Occupation no more. Occupation no more.
When I came around the side to speak to him and just, hey brother, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you choosing to do this? And the look of just complete, he's completely disoriented.
Occupation no more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
You could see that this is he's probably, 23, 24 or so. His whole life he'd been brought up and just brainwashed, basically, to believe that anyone that was not a settler was less than him. Anyone who challenged their right to the land was against God. And for someone to talk to him like that was really confusing. But, another guy drove up, and as soon as he got out, he gets out and he, punches this woman. I mean, he punches her, no joke, punches her. And then Mike goes over and he attacks Mike. And Mike slips, and luckily Mike smartly didn't overreact because the guy had a pistol. And the guy was in his 50s, and so Mike could have whooped his ass. But if Mike had done that, the guy could have shot him, someone else could have shot him.
He will kill you. I'm not right.
Be careful! Careful!
One of them spit right into Munter's face, and that just enraged Munter, and he went right after him, and fortunately was able to grab him and get him away. And then they spit at him again at another point, and the same thing too. Took a lot of my strength, all my strength, to keep Munter back from the settlers, because he was just so enraged and so upset. But like I was saying to him, these guys are just looking for a reason to kill you, to kill one of your friends, because they're all armed. The army is here, and as we know from Israel, settlers and soldiers kill Palestinians all the time, and they're never convicted. And these people are just looking for a reason to kill you and your friends. Don't give them any reason. That's all I kept telling them. Brother, please. The settlers are empowered and they're brave because they've got guns and they've got the army there with them.
Don't touch him.
the situation down there with the settlers.
Yeah.
What's going on with them, with their mentality and mindset? Because they were crazy. It was nuts.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
feel more danger from the settler because they don't care. They don't care if you are American, if you are Palestinian, if you are Israeli. Everyone was had beaten by the settler. You was beaten. This is a new strategy or a new idea that we feel that they push or they allow the settler to deal with the demonstration and attacking the Palestinians.
It's interesting because they don't touch me, you know, for the most part. Like, they'll get in my face and all, and I can speak to them, but like they don't put their hands on me, you know, and some of the larger guys, but the women, the girls, you know, or the older men, they go right after. I mean, they're complete fucking cowards.
So why did they attack the women first? They attacked the women first.
They attack the women first to make, يعني, you know, they don't want the women to participate. For that, they want to make it danger for the women. The participating of the women is the main important issue. And when we have strong free women, we have a strong free generation.
Down there, you were one of the ones that was attacked, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you were hit.
Yeah,
Were you
they
knocked
pushed
down?
me down the hill. Yeah, two settler men, grown men. I saw them like attack a couple other women as well.
Yeah.
I've never been attacked by a man before, so it was kind of very shocking. And then
Right. That was right in the beginning.
That was right in the beginning.
Yeah, that's why I jumped in there. I saw two women get attacked right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then you were attacked as well.
Yeah, and I was the last one to leave, so
Yeah.
they really wanted us out. So, yeah, it's still hard to swallow because it's I don't know, you just never experienced something like that. You never really came close to settlers.
Yeah, it's not like you were there, you know, holding a sign or raising your voice. You were just there with a camera.
Right.
You have every right to be pissed off because it's bullshit that they hit you. It's bullshit. This whole thing is bullshit. Everything around us is bullshit, and it extends down the row until it gets to the point that two settlers hit you. It's fucking bullshit. You have every right to be angry. Every fucking right to be angry. The settlers hit Ellen, they hit Jordan, the one lady, they knocked her to the ground, they were kicking her. I was in the middle of all that. I was trying to get in between things. I'm the biggest guy here. You know how many times the settlers hit me? 0. That's what kind of fucking tough guys they are. That's what kind of men they are. The biggest guy in the group, they touched no times during that whole thing. But the women and the old men, they went right after.
The settlers came and started shouting at us, hitting us. Then soldiers came to protect settlers. So they start shooting a lot of canisters. As you can see, soldiers are... As you can see, soldiers are coming to take us our land, and we're very afraid right now. My name is Jannajihad, and I'm the smallest journalist in the world. I am 10 years old, and I live in Palestine in a village named Nabi Saleh. My friend had been... the canister had come in her leg, and me, the settler, had a gun, and then he started putting it in my leg like this, and then also there was a small settler just covering the cameras, and then hitting you, and settlers was hitting my mother and my aunt.
Yes, the settlers come to us, and they hit all the girls and the women there, and the oldest
Old people that helps us and support us.
Yes.
That's the type of men you're dealing with here. Absolute cowards. And they're tough guys with their rifles, their pistols, and they go after the people, or they blindside people. I'm sure when they hit Jordan, I'm sure they blindsided her. She probably had her camera in her face, so it was an easy shot. That's the type of guys these are. The look in their eyes, they were like wild animals.
Who, the settlers?
The settlers. I feel bad for those guys in some ways. Like, they don't know any better. Like, they're just brainwashed and raised like wild animals, man. They just had this look of rage, and they didn't even know why they were angry. They just, because the man in the sky, the real estate agent in the sky, they were told them we weren't supposed to be here.
As we were leaving, one of the settlers came up to Bassam's daughter, Ahed, and said, "The next time I see you, I'm going to kill you."
Next time you want me, I kill you, I swear.
And she was just completely unfazed. And Bassam is very clear that the women and the role of the women is one of the most important things in the struggle there. I mean, as a photographer, I obviously feel that the visual image is very important. And it's important to bring back the stories and to bring them back in a way that people can really experience them and feel them. So when I come back, I try to be able to put together a visual and a narrative that brings people in so that they can meet the human beings that I met and experience what I experienced so that they can get the passion that I have about this issue. And I feel that without visuals, without pictures and video, and without audio and hearing the actual voices of the people there speaking, people in the U.S. are never going to understand why it's so important for us to stop what's going on there. In order for people to understand it, they have to see and know what it is over there. Not everybody is so fortunate that they can fly over there and see for themselves in person. So I think bringing this stuff back in as vivid a way as possible is critical to making change in this situation.
Don't touch him! You're a terrorist! Democracy is not burning down my house!
Let's go. Just glad nobody got shot, man. You gotta look. Now they start shooting all this shit at us.
Damn. Holy Bassam wants us to go.
Alright, let's go.
Ray, stay with the group.
Somebody hire that guy Braves, man. Wow. My nose still bleeding? I think it's bleeding a little. I got blood all over my face.
Every one of those settlers had a pistol in his waistband at least.
Yeah.
Real tough men.
Or driving his car against people holding a sign.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Petty.
I don't think so. What the fuck? Yeah, they were firing rifle. I heard a couple rifle shots. That's what a bullet sounds like when it goes over your head. Haven't heard that in a few years.
Live ammo down there. So now they got everybody dispersed, and for some reason now they're deciding to shoot live ammo.
Do you think it's the soldiers or the settlers?
The settlers. And that's what's mind-blowing about all this, is that the soldiers are okay with them shooting their weapons and acting like a bunch of bullies and thugs. It's like state-sponsored gang support, you know?
You know, the settlers are in a bad frame of mind. They got a bad frame of mind. But they're still human beings. And they still, you know, eventually they have to be reached. You know, I don't know how that's going to happen. You know, but it won't happen with violence.
Yeah.
You know, because it just should solidify their mentality.
Right.
And that's what happens. You know.
That's
So
one thing
there's
we
a
do
pe-
know. It's not going to happen with violence.
Yeah.
And it may take generations.
It may take
as
generations.
The initial settlers themselves are maybe too late for them to make a
Probably
change.
is.
But
Probably is.
maybe their grandchildren.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to wake up and say, "Wait a minute, something is wrong here. Why am I so filled with hate? You know, why are my parents so filled with hate and so ready to kill? And why do we have to carry guns? You know, something's wrong."
What's up?
Now the soldiers are going to come up to the village. So you can get some film of them coming.
And this battle begins between these kids and the greatest military outside the United States military, the Israeli military, and they can choose not to do anything. They can choose just to fall back and hold back and not do anything, but they choose to go into the village. They choose to come up the hill. They choose to chase and to try and punish these kids. And that's what got me, is that, look, these police and this military chooses this violence. They choose this fight with teenagers.
Well, I mean, they tell us to leave when we were down there. We leave, we go back to the house,
Yeah.
you know, and then they freaking follow us.
Yeah, no, they could have ended
What the hell kind of strategy is that?
Hours ago. They don't have one. And they could have, but no, they,
If they just come up here just to play their war games.
Well,
you know,
because
get their training in or something.
But it makes sense though, right? If the goal is to chase the Palestinians out, if the goal is to push the Palestinians out, if the goal is to turn this into Israel, if the goal is a Zionist project, if the goal is to make this into one big settlement, then that's the way to do it. Put the pressure on these people so they can't live here.
He come and he hit you and he took your kids and he scared your kids. What you can make? He come to our house. You see.
And so the young men feel very frustrated and they have to do something, and that's why they throw the rocks.
Yes. My God.
You know, I mean, like when we got hit with rocks in Iraq, we did a lot of awful things in Iraq, and we did a lot of killing. But like when we got hit by rocks from kids, we left it alone. They were kids. What are we gonna do? Get out and shoot them?
Put that gun down. We don't do that. Put that gun down. Ambushing the little kids. That must really make you feel good, huh? Ambushing the little kids.
Coming through a tree line, so they're going to come down onto the road there. And so some of the young men went running down the street to cut them off. Very brave, very dangerous, but you know, just I think like what young men anywhere do who are being occupied, who have had enough of seeing their families being disrespected, being abused, who just witnessed their mothers and sisters being punched by men in their 20s and 30s, and they've had enough, and they've had enough for a long time, and this will go long and on and on and on until the American government stops subsidizing the Israeli occupation of Palestine, and people will continue to suffer and people will continue to get hurt, and these young men will fight on behalf of their families until that stops. And so I'm very proud to be here with all these other veterans for peace.
Hey, I don't understand why you guys don't just leave and this will all stop. Question. I mean, you like fighting with these kids. They're trying to protect their land. They live here. I'm assuming you're intelligent people. Why are you fighting with kids? If you leave, the fight is over. You got to understand it. This is their village. They live here. Of course they don't want you here. You're here with guns. You're here with tear gas, armored vehicles, the whole deal.
Camera's going to pick it up, but here the tear gas and the grenades going off and the rifle shots, you know, it just keeps going on. And they just won't leave these people alone. The army could have let this end hours ago, but they just will not leave the people alone here. This is what oppression is.
By the way, there's been
suffering
no arrests.
Yeah, none.
No one's been arrested.
No one's been arrested.
They could have easily arrested so many people by now. No,
Yeah.
they're just like running around, chasing people, shooting shit at them.
Because they're not interested in arresting
They're
anyone.
not interested in doing any type of justice or policing.
They're just interested in causing misery and suffering and oppressing people, and that's what they're doing. And they're doing brilliantly. I mean, they're doing it absolutely brilliantly. They're leaving, Chris. Fucking fire their rifle when they're leaving. What an absolute waste, all that. It's like 2 hours of running around, trying to hurt people, just trying to hurt people, and then they leave. What a waste. What an absolute fucking waste. Just fucking madness. You know, man? Fucking madness. This is fucking madness. Oh, yeah, but you look and see the aftermath of all this, and now the people in the village are left to clean up. Plus, there's the danger that the army or the police are going to come back with those big skunk water trucks where they'll hose the town down, they'll hose the water supply down, and the water will be contaminated for a couple weeks, as well as the ever-present threat of the night raids where they'll come into homes and take the children away. But the people certainly are going to keep continuing to resist. All for what? Because we went and stood on a piece of ground with a sign.
Yeah.
All because of that. This is
All
what
because
happened.
Of that.
Yeah. And also, too, you're the professional army. You're the professional soldiers. You're the one who can make the choice.
Yeah.
And these motherfuckers could have made a choice 3 hours ago to stop it.
Yeah.
And they didn't. They could have made a chance to show up and stop the settlers from attacking the people, from attacking women and children.
Mm-hmm.
They could have made a choice.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
But they let them.
They let them. And then the stones start getting thrown.
Yeah.
And then they chase after them. And it's more stones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that the hardest thing has been having this mirror held up to our faces, particularly mine. Seeing the Israeli police and soldiers doing what we did in Iraq and in Afghanistan. The checkpoints, the harassing of the local people, the kicking in doors and going into people's homes, putting rifles into the faces of men, women, and children. That's what we did. I personally, we demolished homes. You know, I had my bulldozers, my giant bulldozers, the D9s that we had with their armor. They're about 120,000 pounds. They weigh more than our tanks do. You know, those were Israeli. We got them from the Israelis and used those I used those to knock down buildings and houses and to confine entire cities, so that the entire city would have to go through one way in, one way out, and for days we wouldn't let them in or out, and people died because of that. People couldn't get to the hospital, or and they suffered because we wouldn't let kerosene shipments in, and this was December, and so the people were cold. I mean, like, we did the same, and we learned that from the Israelis, and they bragged about it. The generals bragged about, we're learning the tactics from the Israelis because they're the best at population control. So seeing this and being here and witnessing this and seeing these kids, these Israeli soldiers, doing the same, the violence against the people, the hate against the people, same as what we were doing in Iraq and Afghanistan. I had a breakdown about, I don't know how long ago it was now, a week and so ago, and I had to take like 2 days off from the trip because it was the guilt, and it all comes back, what you've done to innocent people. So I have a lot of empathy and fear for these young men and women who think they're doing the right thing, but are just doing a vast crime against the people.
But it's a good experience for you to come and see and touch me the meaning of the occupation. It's not a word, it's a life.
It's a life. It is.
This generation, how they deal.
How they deal.
Yeah.
These are the bravest. These here are the bravest people I've ever seen. These are the bravest people I've ever seen. Your children are the bravest people I've ever seen.
We won again.
Bravest people.
All right. Where you go, man?
Well, when we were putting this together, we thought it was really important for the group to get a really good sense of the nonviolent resistance and the persistence and the dedication and the long-term steadfastness of the Palestinians in keeping to this nonviolent resistance in the face of really brutal occupation, in the face of a lot of guns, in the face of tear gas, in the face of racism, their refusal to be drawn into that, and how they manage every day to keep getting up and doing this work when the forces of occupation and oppression are coming down on them.
All your armies, all your fighters, all your tanks, and all your soldiers against a boy holding a stone, standing there, all alone. In his eyes, I see the sun. In his smile, I see the moon. And I only wonder, who is weak and who is strong, who is right and who is wrong. And I only wish that the truth has a tongue.
Said that God gave us this country. They said that we came to be free. They said that all people were welcome in this land of democracy. Bullshit, bullshit. It sounded like bullshit to me. Bullshit, bullshit, and bullshit it turned out to be. We ought to be able to string at least a dozen verses.